I just remember what I forgot to include. No, but my sister, so at the family reunion, I was like, yeah, you see everyone's white and everything, you're like, oh, it's all white again, you know? So you really learn that there's nothing. It's all just white people. There's not a lick of color in any side of the family. No, but what I remembered is that you really know, because I have two black. I think they're just cousins. Yeah, I don't think they're second cousins. No. Yeah, because it's Julie. And so I just have two cousins, and I think they're Colombian. Yeah, no, but I was like, they were adopted into the family. Their family and everything, but I was like, they're adopted because otherwise we would have a chance of lack of color in us, and we would have some melatonin in our body. We wouldn't die by looking at the sun. Going outside, we'll just die, burst into flames, you know? I was like, vampires were based on me. on my ethnicity. On super white people like me. Yeah, those vampires were based on, we have the same skin tone, and I always complain, and I only, really know that vampires aren't real. Because if they were, they would have come for me and, my entire family. And then I was like, oh, that's an issue because you like your family. But I was like, they would have just wiped us all out and fine now. I don't really care right now. I'm angry about ancestry. I'm going to blame everything on ancestors. We all know they were racist assholes, so nothing good came from them. There was no lick of color anywhere in the family. So, yeah. No. But vampires don't exist because mosquitoes and all bugs just attack, and they obsessed, and they love our blood. And we are constantly attacked all the time. All the time. I don't know why we went to the woods. I was like, we're attacked by yeah, no. Yeah. So I just remembered, okay, it's not going to be family reunion. We just talked about that one thing I forgot about family reunion. Yeah, no. It's, my dad always say, oh, I guess I can still call it probably family reunion, but, no, my dad they would always threaten you, because they would dance like, oh, if you're not having the house, you don't clean it, you don't clean it right, you complain about cleaning, you complain about the food and all this crap, you don't eat the food, then go live at the barn, go live in the woods. I would have, if I wasn't allergic to all the hair, and didn't call a rash all over my entire body, and hives, yeah, I would have lived in the barn. If it wasn't super cold, and there wasn't bugs everywhere, I would have lived in the barn. So I mostly just tried to live at my best friend's house. So I was like, I live here now. And it's also like, we're more than friends. You are my family. You are my only family. No one else counts. You are my family. This is what family is supposed to be. You are my family. You're superior to everyone else. Yeah. And I was like, I didn't have a sister I was supposed to. Oh, I guess I'm going to include something. Like, I'm sorry to, my family members and, my friends and everything. But I'm also not sorry. I'm very confused. Okay. I'm sorry because, I'm still confused about, and I'm still not quite getting a few things. I get and understand that argument. I'm switching topics again. The whole argument of being but I was always a dude, and I was always a dude on the inside, and I was always non-binary on the inside and all this crap. I was always me. I was like, no, that was always a part of you and everything. But back then, I'm talking about the past. I'm gonna use your dead old names, and I'm gonna use your old pronouns because, and that's probably triggering, and I'm sorry that's triggering right now. But I was like, hopefully it's not triggering for you later on. But some things will probably still be triggering to you. But for me and my understanding of it and how I look about it, I was I was a girl before. I didn't know who I was or anything. I was yeah, I was a little boy on the inside all the time, but like, I was we talk about the past me, it was a little girl. Still gonna use the he, the sorry, her, she pronouns for when I was a little girl back then, and I was friends with girls. You identified as a girl back then, so I'm gonna call you a girl. And then, since I had this idea, it was caused confusion, and I was like on both sides of the argument, and I was still figuring it out. Didn't quite understand things, and I was also learning things, hearing both sides of the story, because my friend was like really mad because they were fighting with their boyfriend at the time, and they were like, no, but I was always a guy and everything, and they were like, because they were like, you changed and everything. And I wanted to say, I was like, yeah, you did change, excuse me. But I get what they meant, and I did agree with it. I was like, for the most part, you didn't change. You're the same person. You're just more open, and you're more honest, and you're just finally expressing and realizing the part of you that was hiding. So they just probably saw hints of like everything. They just learned more about you. Plus, you did change because now you're happier, and that was a pretty big part of you. And you changed, and you learned, and you had to change, and you had to learn, because you're like, oh, I don't fit in this, and we're going to figure this out. We're going to figure out why we're different, and what this means, and if there are people like me, and all this. We're going to figure this out. We're going to do this. We're going to make ourselves happy and all this. And they also just became a happier person, and there's a lot less self-hatred, and also just not self-hatred about their identity, but just being like, oh, this is why I hate myself. Okay. And accepting and loving their identity if they can't love their body and different parts of themselves. So yeah, they did change in that regard, but overall as a person, yeah, you didn't change. And yeah, you were always the boy inside, but I agree, especially more now. I was like, they weren't wrong that you changed. You became happier and everything, but as a person you didn't change, but you changed a little bit. They were wrong because they were like, oh, you changed completely. No, you just changed a little bit. Just like, yeah. And then also, like, you knew pretty early on before you came out and everything. And before you told the boy you were dating, but, oh, and this is why they were an M and they were an X. And then I took and chose an M name for me, and now they're an L. Her letters, their names. Oh yeah. Yeah, so a little bit about the names. Don't use them. I'm not really entirely sure, and I haven't talked to one of my friends in a couple of years. So, and use their dead name, and yeah. Asian and I were friends and everything, and I'm sorry for back then accidentally outed my friends, because I had talked to one of my friends, and they'd been out for a couple of years and everything, and people still apparently didn't realize it. They just weren't getting the hang of it, and they just refused to change and everything, and they just didn't do anything about it, and they'd like bullied them for it, but they didn't really talk about it, and they didn't understand it, and they didn't talk about it again, and they just ignored it. And they told me over and over again that it was okay, and then I assumed, since they were confident enough that they told me and our small group of friends that they were okay with me talking about it openly and around their other group of friends, but it wasn't the case. And also, when I was outing myself, I didn't want, they made assumptions about my best friend that just weren't true, and so then I ended up outing them out, because I wanted to clear up the misunderstanding, but apparently they weren't ready to be out to school and everything. But for the most part, it didn't stick around. No one really talked about it, so they were safe. But I didn't mean to out them, and I didn't know, and I didn't realize that they weren't okay with it, and that they weren't ready to come out, and even to their other group of friends that I was talking about and trying to apologize And we were trying to talk about it and trying to apologize to them about this misunderstanding about adding them. I was like, oh wait, I added you and I realized that you probably weren't ready and I'm sorry. And explaining to this, apparently their other group of friends were around and they didn't know yet. So I was like, I'm sorry for adding you again, I don't know what I did. And then we still feel guilty about this, and my brain is like, you should feel horrible about yourself, you should hurt yourself because of this, you know? Yeah, that's what it likes to do. It's like, any fault, any misunderstanding, anything you feel guilty for. Just another excuse, you know? Yeah, no. But yeah. So. Yeah. They weren't ready yet, and I didn't know it. And I was like, yeah. No, crap. No, about living in the barn and everything. And then you were like, oh, in the woods. I imagined it all the time, and I wanted to live in the woods. But we would walk through the woods, like, all the time and everything. And then you're like, oh, the problem with the bugs again. And then also all the thorns and everything, and the poison ivy. And we would take paths and everything near the walkway, and I was scared of heights. And I only grabbed the poison ivy on accident, because I also didn't know what was poison ivy. And he kept trying to teach me over and over again. Like with cars. I didn't get it. Sorry. It just doesn't click. It just never, no matter how I teach you, a lot of stuff just doesn't click. It just doesn't, I make understanding, and I also push it aside. Because I'm like, why would I need this? It's information from the mechanic. They can know this. I don't get it. Telling leaves apart, the trees apart, like, I don't get it. I don't understand it. It turns out, because my sister kept telling me that I was allergic to pine trees, but I don't know, but I probably am. And now I realize, and I remembered that at work, apparently there's pine-scented things, and I was working, because I was working with chemicals and laundry detergent and stuff like that, and then a lot of there's like bottles of like pine oil and stuff like that, and sometimes they spill and everything, so... Yeah, so I'm probably allergic to pine trees. It's probably right about being allergic to pine trees. But yeah, no, it was just that one thing about the family. I remembered family reunion. But yeah, it's telling me to go live in the woods, and I wanted to, but all the bugs and wanted to food and shelter, and it was cold. So yeah, it just didn't work. Yeah. If you complained about anything, you would just like, go live in the barn, go live in the woods, go live in the shed, go live out with the stinky animals and everything. And the shed Dad just built, all of it's pretty old, and I wasn't sure if it was going to collapse on me or not. And it's all really cold, and there's no blankets, and nothing's clean, and there's bugs everywhere, and there's, poison ivy. We were walking a path, and I think I did almost fall over. And it was the path, there's a narrow pathway. There are no actual paths. These were not made by humans. Yes or no? These are probably all just made by animals, or just strokes of mud, just missing grass parts, or just following them. And there's just, sometimes there's a little bit of path, because a lot of hunters will come out in the woods and everything. We're surrounded by woods. Sometimes there will be, but a lot of times it's not actual path. We're just wandering through the woods aimlessly for no apparent reason. No idea why we were in the woods. Just have to be outside. I don't know why. It's like we're dying because of the sun, so we're just walking through the woods, so we're getting stabbed by everything. And I could never figure out what, poison ivy and everything, all that trick, so I was like, and they were like, oh, different types of plants and all this, so I was like, okay, don't touch anything. Okay. Try to avoid everything. Don't let the branches touch you. Especially since there'll be, thorn trees and stuff like that. You're like, yep, nope. And, any plant's gonna have thorns or just prickly and just hurt to step on and all this crazy stuff. So, yeah. I'm doing weird things with my foot. It's kind of helping me, stretch it, though. So, whatever. Being distracted, normal. Yeah, no, but also, fidgeting in class and everything, they would usually notice. I just do it quietly. So, just always, gently just tapping my foot out of the table. And then everyone just said, talking with my hands. Even when I don't talk, I'm always using my hands. But most of the time, I just had to use them by writing. So, then I just learned to use in school, because then I was like, okay, because I have to use all senses. but we just don't have the smell and the taste of anything. But we have our ears on, we're listening and we're watching and we're writing. So we're hands-on, so we can actually learn something. And then even then, it might not click, but we can at least have the motor skills of just, we don't have to make that video now. Yeah. So for the most part, we didn't learn anything. It was just a copy. My hand remembered the motion, like my feet and stuff, like autopilot and stuff like that. I would be completely out of it, and then I had no idea where I was, and I had no way to class, and I'd be super lost. But my feet would just keep walking, and they would find my way to what classroom I was supposed to go to, and they would go. They'd lead me to the right area. They would tell me how to get back to places, because I was just so used to the routine and everything. They just got so used to it that they just copied it. They just automatically did it. That was how it was most hard for my hands. She got so used to it. So used to the formulas and all of this. So then my hands were literally just teaching my brain over half the time. It'd be like, I was like, I have no idea how to do this. I don't know how to do it. And it would be like, but like usually at the start or something, or like maybe I can do this, or maybe I can. I know how to write this one. I should start here, write this one number down. But this is all I remember. And then after that, your body just takes over and it's like, yes, this is solving the problem. And it's like, oh, now I know. Because my hand is literally teaching me right now. But there was always time restraints on everything. So I could never get anything done. I always failed my test because then I would just spend the entire time panicked. So it's like, I don't know how to do anything. I don't know what's happening. I don't have any time. But I need to get everything done and be done now. I'm late. I'm done. I already failed. I failed. The entire time. So it was just a disaster. Okay, yeah. No, because I was remembering, thinking about, because there's the whole, like, oh, but you're not hyper, but you weren't fidgeting in class. No, I just hid them. Because you got in trouble, and you could get yelled for that. So you just hide it. So you just learn when's a safe time to reveal those things, and when it's not safe time to reveal it, so you don't act that way in front of certain people, and you're already terrified of the adults, so that makes it easier. So yeah. Oh no. No, but yeah. So I'll definitely, I'll try not to use old names, but I'm still probably. But if I'm not gonna use old names, then I'm probably gonna use some old pronouns. And I'm sorry I have used, and I haven't asked you, and I probably won't. So I'm an asshole, but I know I'm wrong, but I don't know how to change this, and it's just how it is. It's how I understand it. But yeah, no. Oh yeah, but my friend was like, started dating, like, first grade, like, elementary school. And I was like, you didn't know you were a boy then? Like, you hadn't figured it out completely. Like, you're like, I'm a boy in my head and everything, but everyone saw, and you're like, you're a girl. So you're like, I'm a girl. So they didn't know when they started dating. So, like, I understand a little bit, and I was like, you grew up together and everything, and you were dating for, like, years and everything. You, like, started dating in, like, an elementary school or something. Or, yeah. It was probably just later in elementary school. But yeah, you started dating, like, super early on and everything. So I get it a little bit more. And if he's, like, thinking about, like, when you were little and you first started dating, then, yeah, obviously you changed. You changed drastically. You were, like, you're super young. You were, like, 10 or something when you started dating. Of course, when you're, like, 15, 16, you've changed. And 14, and 13, you've changed. I think I might have dated them, like, when they were 8 or something. Like, I don't know. But yeah, they came out when they were, like, 12, 13, probably, like, 13, 14. And then I was, like, 17 when we finally figured ourselves out. We were finally solid at 17. And then we were still, like, 17 when it came out, like, the first time a little bit. 17. Maybe a little bit of 16. But no, we turned 17 by then, I think. But we were questioning everything when we were 16. We were just learning. We were like, what? This exists? When you were, like, 15... maybe, but mostly just when we were 16. No, and when I was 15, I just learned, they were just telling me about it. And I was like, and I was also like, 15, 14, I was like, can I have a friend crush on my best friend? But we're never gonna kiss, because they're always dating random boys that I disapprove of and that I bully. Oh, was it? Might have been, I think it was in middle school. It was earlier on than that. No, I think it's a little bit later. I don't remember when I exactly had a crush on them. I just remember, I think it was, no, it was middle school. And then I told their old boyfriend that they dated, who was one of their super close friends, who moved back, who started dating. They did like for a year in 6th grade. I told him a couple of years later because we were like just a group as a friend, and then I kind of dumped his ass for a while because I was like, because he was kind of iffy. He was like, I don't really know. Like a lot of what like the Christian students, a lot of them changed their mind. They were like, I don't really know. I don't really approve of your actions, but I don't really know. I can't tell if someone's in the kitchen or not. There shouldn't be. Lights off. Okay. They shouldn't be able to hear me. The radio's on in there. Whatever. No, yeah, we talked about living outside. Oh, yeah, but yeah, because of all the bugs, and also we learned because all of everyone on both sides have the problem with just bugs loving us, and all the mosquitoes. Yep, I hate people. Just all the mosquitoes wanting to attack us and suck all of our blood, so I was like, if vampires were real, they would come for us. Because if we were real, they would do blood. They would find us. Yeah, so that's sad. It'd be cool if they were real, and I would want to be one. I would be turned by one, that would be cool. I really like fantasy stuff. And I was like, I already have a look of one, and I was happy about my red hair a few times. Because I was like really into, not Orphan Annie, but another Anna Green Gables or something. Yeah. Anna Green Gables. I was really into Anna Green Gables. I was really into that story and everything. And I was like, I also get mad about people making fun of my hair. They talk about my hair. And she got mad and she hit someone with a chalkboard. I remember, and I thought it was funny. And yeah, because they called her a carrot and everything, so she's mad. And then some random ass movie I was really into. The real reason I was really okay with my red hair for a little while, because the actress had like dyed really, really red hair. It's a pure red hair, and she was a vampire in the movie, and it was like a spin-off of like Marvel. I think it was like off-brand thing, because instead of Black Widow, they had like their own brand of like the Avengers. Yeah. So instead of Widow, you have the vampire, and then instead of Hulk, you have like the Red Hulk, so it looks like very similar, or something like that. It was like a spin-off of a lot of things, like a little bit of like, probably wasn't Avengers yet, no. It was probably a spin-off of like, who is Werewolf? Wolverine. Who is he? Instead of werewolf, and within that category, they have like Werecat or Jaguar or something like that. No, that guy. What is that in? It's that whole academy and everything. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was like off-brand of that and off-brand of a couple other movies, and they kind of just pushed together. Oh, I think instead of actually having like a Red Hulk, I think that was one of the people they had to fight. Yeah, because they mixed her blood and different things like that. They took like DNA samples from each of the main characters in the storyline, and then they made an arch enemy. They used those genes to try and make their own superior immortal creature that then they had to defeat. Yeah, it was cool. I remember liking it. I won't actually go find it. I probably won't even be able to. I don't remember anything except that it was cool, and I thought it was cool. But yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we just had a fantasy about vampires and all that crap. My hands hurt. Okay, we're in the pantry, on the stairs, right outside the kitchen. We were at the bottom of the stairs before, but yeah, the pantry. Yeah, we also climbing. I'm sorry. To reach anything, you had to climb all of these, all these cubbies. But yeah, so clubbing was always the thing. It's the only way you get anything anywhere. Yeah, no. But you know, oh yeah, the video before was just about because someone with ADHD was responding to all the symptoms and everything, and I was like, the only thing like I didn't write down on the test was like being hyper, and fidgety, and I was like, oh, I just don't notice because I'm so used to it, and I just don't notice what I'm doing. I don't notice because I'm so used to it, and they were also like, oh, you talk with your hands. No, a lot of time, especially today when I get angry and everything, my hands just do all the talking. I don't talk. I might make sounds and things, but most of the time, no words are happening. My body is doing all the communication. My hands and arms tell you everything that's happening. But yeah. And then for learning and everything, I learned mostly just the hack of writing everything down. So I had all three things active. And I always had all three, like, listening, learning skills, learning types all active. Because, like, oh, you learn, like, mostly by seeing and hearing, or, like, hands-on. I had all three almost at all times. Maybe I could get by with two, but not really. No. And even with all three, I couldn't get all of it. It makes sense. Yeah, I never learned clocks and geometry. Yeah, that was solely motor skills. We didn't understand any of it. We barely passed it. There was usually probably some division thrown in. That's why we passed the class. It's like division, you got it. Multiplication, mostly just forced memory. We still have some of that. Addition never happened. We used subtraction to work backwards to get to addition. To getting close to an answer, but it's not super trustworthy. But subtraction's a little bit better than multiplication. Division is superior to all. And but division's focuses so much on multiplication, and there were bigger numbers and things, then you had to go back to subtraction, which was a little bit, sometimes it was better than multiplication, but it was also just usually a little bit underneath there. And then if it's addition, there was no hope. Just no hope for addition. Yeah, no, but for learning, yeah. And then spelling never clicked, clocks never clicked. We can't do any of that, and nope. I know where the hour hand is, and that's about it. The hour and the minute hand, but the minute hand is basically useless because that won't help me. And I know that it goes by fives. That for the most part, you count by five. It's fives. You go 5, 10, 15, 30 minutes. I know how to do that, and I know what it's the hour hand and the minute hand, and that's it. Everything else is lost. And then military time. We kept trying to get that, but we can't. We were mostly just forced to relearn it and get close to it and get better at it, because at work, the machine would usually print the time on it, and it was military time, about when you were done with the product, because then you could learn, oh, you're close to break, oh, you're close to leaving. It took me forever to realize that it was time, because I was like, what is these numbers on the side of the box? No idea. No idea what the numbers were. But there was like something and then the time. Yeah. And then I shouldn't have my phone in my pocket or anything, because that could easily get bumped on and fallen and cracked and everything. So, and I usually also had to power it off, because because I don't want to consume battery and stuff. And I didn't use it because my depression was in charge and I was depressed. So I had plenty in my mind to think about, so I needed distractions. And then we just fall asleep standing, because we can do that. I didn't know I could do that. I knew I could fall around sitting anywhere, sitting up, sitting crisscross, applesauce, any location, anyway, right out of the noise, I could somehow fall asleep. I knew that. But I also thought maybe that had faded as I grew older. Nope. We learned with the job. Nope. We only woke up because we kept falling. So it just yeah. And then we kept falling more asleep all the time. So we had to quit. Otherwise, we were putting it off. We were like, maybe I could hold out a little bit longer, Quick, because we wanted to do like the normal 2-week notice, but we couldn't because I told him I was like I'm leaving because of health, because I keep passing out and I'm over a machine and I'm working and in the middle of work. And I'm just waiting on the machine to spit out some more rolls, and I'm grabbing rolls, and that's when I pass out, fall asleep, and it's dangerous. Because there's a little bit of a small mini conveyor belt right behind me, and there's a machine spitting out rolls right in front of me. Yeah, there's nothing protecting me. If I fall forward or backwards, my body will be destroyed. And especially if I fall forward and the glass part and the machine messes up, isn't the way blocking it, then my face can get wrecked, my hands get wrecked, caught in the machine, my body can just be torn apart by the machine. It was a mess. Yeah, no. So I was just talking about random crap, but mostly, yeah, I think just family reunion.